they just want to be a user of the product primarily, or you got a business builder package. And so learn what the options are to get people enrolled, and learn how to enroll people. And remember that time's your enemy, isn't it? And so the longer you take to get people to LOI, the longer you take to get them to executive, the longer it takes to get them a check and get them to Ruby and take a Ruby trip, the longer all those things take, the more people perish. The more you can compress that time, the more velocity you create in your own group and in your own team. So if that's true, how do you want to sign people up? With a business builder kit, if at all possible, because the very act of ordering the business builder kit will satisfy the LOI. Right? Question?
Yeah. What if somebody has like an objection, you talk about the money objection, how would you get over that with somebody?
Well, about the money objection, I think it really just comes down to value. You know, do they perceive the value or not? And what I tell people is, for me, this is what I do. I don't recommend everybody does this unless you're doing what I do, okay? But I've had people say, I don't have any money, and I'll say, okay, well, you need to find the money. You know, because this is a partnership, and I'm willing to put my time into this program with you right here. But this is your business, it's not mine. You know, if you can't come up with the money to buy a business builder package, then I'm not sure I can spend the time with you. I just get concerned about the duplication, because I know that if they don't buy a business builder package themselves, that they're going to have a really hard time getting their prospects to buy a business builder package as well. And I'm going to start a cycle of duplication that will not create the velocity I'm looking for. I'm starting a cycle that will stretch the time out even further. That's the problem. So I'd rather have them wait a week, or 2 weeks, or even a month, until they actually have the money, and they buy their business builder package, and then we go. Yeah?
Very quickly on that, a customer comes in and they decide they want to do the business. Would you still, and they might even have a volume that is approaching 1,000, would you still encourage them to invest in the business builder kit at that point?
I do. I actually do. I tell them, you know, you need to buy this package, because the first question you're going to get from your people, once they're ready to go, people kind of get to this point where they're all ready, then they ask the last question. And that question is, so is this what you did? Is this how you started? And either you need to be able to tell them the truth and go, yeah, that's exactly what I did. I bought the same package. That's what you need to do. Then they're done. Then they'll buy it, right? Or if you didn't do it, then you have to be a really good liar and go, yeah. I bought that package. Don't do that, right? We don't ever advocate lying. Just do the best you can. So, you know, if you're here right now today and you never bought a package like that, you might want to think about doing it.
But the 357 one's fine, though, isn't it?
I'm sorry?
The 357 pack is still a business.
I'm not familiar with what it is. If it generates 1,000 points, then that's good. It doesn't? Okay. I probably personally wouldn't use that one, but maybe you want to. Depends how you want to do it. Okay? Yeah, I mean, my objective with that getting started process is I want to save time. I want to get people to have success faster, if possible, right? And so what I want to do is I want the initial order to be 1,000 points. And you guys do that in 2 steps here, I believe. But the culmination, the result is you get 1,000 points, right? And that's really important for me in what I do, because I'm going to duplicate that with people. That's what I'm going to duplicate. If they don't want to do that, that's great. They can still buy a package and join and just use product or whatever, or just do the business at a slower pace. But you have to realize that my objective was to be a blue diamond, so I couldn't afford to spend time with them. I would tell them when the meetings were. I'd say, come to the weekly opportunity meeting. You know, come to the Saturday trainings. Do all the things. Just plug into the meetings. Let the system take care of them, because you can't afford to spend your time with them. At least I couldn't. Can you kind of get the feeling that you're going to attract really serious people if you act serious about it? Can you see maybe how you've been doing things a little bit different? Don't ever whine and beg people. I don't care if it's the 31st day of the month and you have to have the volume. You still just get people on the phone if you're recruiting, you know, and sometimes the takeaway is what you have to have. I use the takeaway all the time. If I get too many questions, I'll say to people, look, I'm doing it with or without you. I am. I'm going to move forward anyway. Because when you're recruiting people, you're approaching them. I've got a new project. Name of the company's New Skin. They just released the first, biophotonic skin with faster aging on the inside. I'm really excited about it. When can we get together? When people feel like you're pursuing them, they try to get away. And so sometimes you got to straighten the conversation up like this. And so when they start going, well, I'm not sure, I don't know if this is really something for me, you just say things like this. You say, Joe, I'm going to do this with or without you. Okay? When you say that, it's kind of like you stand up the conversation. Joe, I'm going to do it with or without you. And all of a sudden they go, okay, well, I hear what you're saying. In fact, Joe, I don't know if this is for you. Well, I think it might be for me. Actually, I don't think it is. Yes, it is. I want to do it. Can you see my hands do this? In your mind, when you're recruiting, think about this. Think about when you need to do a takeaway and stand up the conversation. Because if they feel like you're chasing them, they're trying to get away, and you just have to have a few of those, right? Yeah. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do it with or without you. I'm going to make $10,000 a month in this company whether you do it or not. Okay? Don't do it for me. People will go, okay, well, I really don't want to do it, but I'll come to that meeting so you get one of those 5 seats full. What do you say then? Say, you know what? Don't do this for me. I don't need you to do it for me. You do it for you. Otherwise, don't come. Ooh, that's kind of strong, isn't it? Can you sense my posture? You guys got to have posture. You can't be weak and wimpy and spineless. 31st of the month when you're on the phone with somebody and you need another, 400 points, and you go, come on, just sign up, okay? I need you to do it right now. Don't do that stuff. That sounds really weak. You don't need them to do it for you. They're not going to want to do it for you. Nobody wants to do it for you. They're going to do it for themselves if they see it. Okay? So just think about the posture. So getting started, I try to make sure that a 1,000-point transaction happens at that point so that I can get their LOI in. And then I go right back and we start with them. Right? Now we set their goals. Find out what they want. We do their contacts, their invites, their presentations, follow-up. It just goes around and around and around and around. That's all we do. We do it over and over and over again, right? Same thing. That's why we say this is not a complicated business. Okay? It's really a simple business. You just do the same thing over and over. Isn't that duplication? Isn't that the ultimate objective of what we're trying to accomplish? Sure it is. And so that's why we do it. And we do it and do it and do it until we're sick of doing it. Then we do it some more. We just keep doing it. And we're so sick of doing it, we want to go throw up. We go throw up, we come back and do it some more, and do it some more, and do it some more. That's all we do. It's actually more fun than that. Right? I actually get really into it every time I do a presentation, even after 22 years. Do you know why I get into it? How do I get myself geared up? Like tonight at 7:30. I mean, how many times do you think I've done the 5-point presentation? It's automatic. You can just push a button and I can just do it, right? But I have to have the emotion to do that presentation. And the way that I get connected is I ask in the very beginning of the meeting who's here for the first time. And some people will raise their hands, and I notice 4 or 5 of those faces, and that's who I look at the whole rest of the night. And I just want to see what they're doing. I want them to go from this, to taking notes, to leaning forward. I want to see their body language go from defensive to open, during that presentation. If I can accomplish that, then I probably accomplished my objective during that presentation. So every new person to me is a challenge. Every new person's got their own ideas and their own agency. They can decide if they want to do it or not, right? And so it's just up to me to do the best I can. I feel like I owe it to them to do the best I can. Because if I don't get them, what's going to happen to them? They're just going to keep working some job or just have some mediocre life that's never, ever going to get them where they could be. Right? Every person, I believe, is capable of doing so much more than they ever do in their life. That every one of you in this room has unlimited potential. I really believe that. Whether you think that about yourself or not, a lot of you don't think that about yourself. I want you